and get us started. And it is 8:03, 8:03. So make sure you show up, show out, deliver, take the notes because we're about to go ahead and get started. Very, very, very important. Positioning for next year definitely is going to start. Has already started. But like I said, I want you guys to make sure you set your alerts on YouTube as well too. Because like for example, on my iPad, I just got an alert that I was going live, right? So that's how I know it's working. So make sure you guys do have that and then share that. Share that as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get this party started. Give everybody a few more minutes to come in. Give another 2 to 3 minutes. So go ahead and get in. We're here live in the morning, wanting to make sure that people are fed, ready to go before this day gets started. So, like I said, hopefully everybody's good. Let me go ahead and bring my people into this room real quick. You can bring them in. And like I said, for everyone that's here, you guys need to go ahead and send me your name, email, number. Get yourself access into this community today. That's what I want you guys to do. Access into this community today. We got the people arriving. Mute up everybody. Great people, what's going on? Top of the morning, letting everybody in. Spotlight myself. Brandon, what's going on? About to take roll call real quick. Always got to take roll so we know who's here and who's not. So the Zoom is open and we are ready to go. Excited for it. What's going on? What's going on, Miss Michelle? Shout out to everybody. Drop some comments in the chat if you guys can hear me this morning. Fire this thing up because everybody should be happy, man. You got another day, another opportunity to go do this thing. And I'm happy. I'm excited. Let's get it. Let's lock in and focus. And let's keep this party rolling. So, some good news after hours, but there's still more work to be done. Work is not finished. All gas, no brakes. You feeling what I'm putting down? All gas, no brakes. Got a ton of things that we could be handling and doing. So, let's go ahead and get this money. Let's talk about it. Let's give a shout out to our West Coast tribe in the building here this morning. West Coast people stand up. What's going on? Our West Coast people stand up. Let me hear you make some noise. Shout out to you guys that's being here in the building. And shout out to all my East Coast people that's here with me. We up early too. A lot of us been up since 5, 6 a.m. You got your US economic calendar, so we're gonna talk about that. Today is really the day at 8:30 where we're gonna get durable goods orders. We're gonna get industrial production and consumer confidence at 10 a.m. So this is our day for when we are talking about the couple of our major economic reports. This is our economic report day of the week. So let me go ahead and share my screen and go ahead and get us started and kicked off. So, yep, I see you guys in the chat. What up? Mr. Thompson in the building. Let me make sure. And let me also make sure we go ahead and hit that record. There we go. Recording. Yep. Miss Claudia, appreciate you. All right, let's go. All right, so we are on. Everyone should go ahead and be there on the YouTube, on the tube, tapped in with us this morning. So let's talk about a couple of things. I know I posted, we talked about Meta platforms. As you can see, it's still wicking here at that 670. Yesterday, it tried to actually get above, that specific point and break out. It was unsuccessful in doing so. So it's trying to, get there and break out over that level. It just didn't have enough gas or juice. So it struggled to actually break above. So when you are looking here now, we're watching the QQQ here on the upside. On the Qs, if we can see a break over on the QQQ, ideally, we would want to watch this break over 626. And then I think Meta would actually break over 674, right? So when you are watching both tickers, you do want to keep your eyes peeled on the Qs and as well Meta there. So put that Meta platforms. You guys did see me post that up. Those are your two key levels to pay attention to on the QQQ. A decent day could have been better, but the volume is lower. You do understand that. Tomorrow, the stock market will close at 1 p.m. So just to let everyone know, the stock market will close at 1 p.m. tomorrow, right? So at 1 p.m. tomorrow, the stock market will close. So everyone drop a comment in the chat if you can hear. Your connection's good, just to make sure everybody's hearing me. So 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that means 10 a.m. My West Coast people, we got the rest of the day. Beauty of the West Coast, right? Usually you guys are closing at 1 p.m. anyway, but now you guys are closing at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So shout out to my West Coast people in the building. All right. So just wanted to make those adjustments. Now, let's talk about the stock that popped obviously after hours. A lot of people in my DM and just people asking me about it, and um, no excitement. I mean, this isn't anything, right? I mean, realistically, this isn't anything. This is a start, right? But there's still more work to be done. So when I do take a look at NVO, this has long been a name that we've discussed and highlighted. They had a good day after hours yesterday, but it's still a road to this recovery, right? So when I was taking a look at here at the VIX this morning, all right, so we do have the VIX, which is currently at 14. So that means there's virtually no fear in the markets right now. But let me go ahead and pull up NVO, up about 8.5%. Now, this has been something that I've highlighted that, hey, this is where you buy. You buy tickers when they're at a discount. So when stocks pull back, it's important to go ahead and pick these names up at key discount zones and levels, right? Don't wait. You want to buy when there are pullbacks in the market, right? So hear me carefully. LE is telling you, yo, I'm telling you right now, you buy when there's pullbacks in this market. You don't wait to buy. You know what I'm saying? You buy when there is a pullback, right? So this is very, 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 very important. And man, crazy, crazy, crazy. I just got some bad news. Damn it. All right, we're gonna keep this rolling. Keep this rolling. Damn, I just got some bad news. It's all good. We'll figure it out. Um, so when you do take a look here at NVO, like I said, a $3.66 EPS. So, unfortunately, what it comes down to is with this EPS has been once again falling here for some time. Excuse me, rising still for some time, but the P to E ratio had been falling. So this is a good value zone. This is why I said on MVO, I said, hey guys, this is a good place to look to be a buyer, right? You buy things that hit the discount shelf, but not just things that hit the discount shelf and pull back, right? You also buy things, obviously, when they hit the discount shelf, when it makes sense to, because every stock that pulls back down does not mean that it's on a discount. That's just the reality. Just because equities have a pullback does not mean that we are seeing, right, virtually, very, very, very mindful and very important, does not mean that that stock and company from a business perspective is on a discount. So I think this is where you look here and you don't really get excited about it, but it just lets you know the buyers, it lets you know where the buyers are at. And the buyers are at this level. So when I said, hey, the perfect price you would get would roughly be around arguably, you would say probably around, 35 all the way to that lower 40 spectrum. That was where I was expecting price to really bottom. Now, back in the 50 range, what are the levels that we need to see? And where are we expecting it to go for next year? We're not expecting $100 or 125 bucks, but we got a soft target of 65 to 75 bucks, right? In between this zone is where we anticipated to go, which would be relatively almost a 50% move. So we're looking here and saying, okay, NVO, and I've highlighted this ticker since really July, right? Just as far as consistently every single week highlighting NVO and telling people, hey, this is the time and the zones when you want to buy. So I want to encourage people to understand not everything that you buy is going to just get bought and just fly to the moon, right? And that's what a lot of times people want. A lot of times people want stocks to just, they buy it and it soars. But think about it. What's the good in that? Because you may buy 50 shares, 100 shares. Some people may buy 10 shares day one, just depending on the equity. You may execute, some people may be in a position to execute a cash secured put and lock them down 100 shares day one. What I want people to start really looking at this thing is full scope. The longer that something trades sideways, the more time it gives you as an opportunity to be able to accumulate. Right, that's the name of the game. You actually want to be able to accumulate before you gotta, before this thing soars. But so many times we see these things soaring, and you have not been able to actually buy. Right, you know what I mean? You haven't even been given a requisite chance to actually put your bread up. And that's what happens to a lot of people, man. And I just want to just try to be a guide, be a guide to people real quick and just say, hey, if you're listening to me, Really listen up and listen closely because I highlight things months in advance for a purpose. There's a reason and a purpose to the information that I'm putting out. But if you're not taking the information down and then applying it over a period of time, we're not really looking for any like quick fixes here. We day trade here and there. We look for long-term swing setups. We are just wanting to make sure that you understand the risk to reward of where you're buying and putting your money at. So when I say now that MU or Palantir shouldn't be bought, particularly Palantir, right? Because MU is still cooking as far as earnings wise. I'm telling people not to buy Palantir. Why? Because Palantir has been overran. Does it mean that Palantir is done going up? No, because I think Palantir to go to 210, 220, quick, especially if the volume carries it. But the piece is you have to look at it from the standpoint of where you're buying an investment at, where you're taking your shot and your chance, and where's the business at? Because a lot of times we just seen it with Lululemon Athletica, right? That was the ticker that did it last week, right? Over the past 2 weeks. It hit this zone and it was trading sideways since September. And I've highlighted it. Shout out to RJ Trades as well. And there's many other people out there highlighting it. And we're saying, hey, this is the lowest level that Lululemon had been at since the pandemic, right? But when you pull up Lulu and you look at their earnings, EPS, earnings per share, trailing 12 months, take that down. This is a $14.38 EPS. This company's printing money. Now they face challenges, of course. Why? Tariffs. But you must know where you're buying an investment at. Don't become somebody's exit liquidity. And that's what's happened to a lot of people. I'm gonna be honest, and you guys know what I'm talking about. You've waited until someone says, "Hey, come buy me, come buy me, take care of, get in this ticker, get in," and then you're buying the ticker, and then you become somebody's exit liquidity. Do not become exit liquidity in 2026. That's what I want you guys. Do not become exit liquidity. I want you guys to put that down because that's what happens. People buy these hyped up names. Do not become exit liquidity. This is real stock market education. No fluff, telling you guys exactly where you should be looking zones wise. No, it's not. Is everything going to be perfect? No, that's just not how it works. But we're giving you the best. We're giving you the best of the best, the cream of the crop. And you taking this analysis can help you to understand. Keyword understand. We want you guys to know what the hell is going on with your money so you can understand the variables at risk at play. But don't be missing class for 2 to 3 months. Don't miss class for 2 to 3 months unless you got something personal going on. Unless you got something personal going on, do not miss class for 2 to 3 months and come back and say, "Yo, L, what's going on, man? What's happening?" Boom, 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 boom. You bombarded me with 20 questions, but all the questions we've been on here on Zoom every week. Make sure that you're taking this information because we're going to cover it multiple times over and over and over and over. Also, don't get hung up on one thing. Sometimes people become one track minded. In 2026, don't become one track minded. Oh, but this just one thing, one thing, one thing, one thing. And you so focused on just that one thing that you miss the rest of the things that's going on. So I'm talking that talk. I need to see some fires in the chat here this morning. If you guys are putting down, picking up what I'm putting down, I need to see some fires in the chat because what I want to highlight is also this holiday spending because that's what I'm gonna do next. I thought people were supposed to be boycotting Target. I seen a lot of black people in there. I just went to scope out. I just wanted to see. Now I live in a predominantly black area, so I got a good, and I went to a couple Targets. Popped up. I wanted to see. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, our brothers and sisters was in there dropping that bag on them toys and spending that money on Target. So boycott, I don't know what they talking about. Now, I'm not saying people ain't boycotting, but I'm gonna say this. A lot of our people was in there giving money right back to the same corporations that they was withholding checks from for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, people wasn't being paid. Right. And it wasn't rightfully so, it was wrongfully so. Wrongfully so. So it was wrongfully so for 6 weeks that our people wasn't being paid. But you took the money and you giving it right back to these corporations. And Target's sitting here right in demand right now. Pay attention. So holiday season come around, I wanted to scope because I wanted to see, I just wanted to spectate. And that's what you got to do sometimes. It's sitting right here in demand. So I know Target, they was talking about Target holiday season. We gonna crush them. Ah, you ain't gonna crush Target. Your ass was in there spending that money. And I'm sorry for it. Just gotta call a spade this morning. All year we heard we boycotting, we boycotting. But Target wasn't the only one that cut their DEI program. Walmart did too. Amazon did too. A ton of these companies did. I ain't see boycotts there. So we gonna do something, do it right. Don't wait until the last quarter of the year, last moment in time, and you fold. The government had to open this thing back up because who told them? The corporations. They told them you better not go into holiday season and you don't open this thing and you don't send them checks. We saw the numbers on Black Friday. I'm just talking, I'm just saying the things that no other people have been saying it too, but I'm gonna be loud about it. Because listen, ladies and gentlemen, we walking into a brand new year where things is only gonna get tighter, where the windows only get smaller. These are just the facts. The windows only get smaller. So we got to play this game the right way. So I just wanted to make that address here today. Very, 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 very important that I highlighted and talked about this. But I'm in a very great mood, and I know you guys see it. I did get a little bit of bad news, but that ain't gonna bring me down. We're gonna keep this thing rolling. Fire this chat up, and that's just what's gonna happen. When you're inside the game, what am I doing right now? I'm in the middle of a game, but something didn't go my way. Did you see me put my head down? Mm-mm. I actually turned this thing up a little bit more. So that's got to be our philosophy on our mentality is, hey, in the game, there's going to sometimes be something that gets thrown in your way and you're going to get smacked. You might get smacked in the face, or it might be some news that you get, boom. But you got to keep rolling. You got to keep rolling. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset. That's the mentality we got to have. Because guess what? It's Tuesday, Newsday, and we're here in the morning. Christmas is 2 days away. I'm sure many of people are travelers, spend time with your families. You got an opportunity right now to have these discussions. You got an opportunity right now. We can change our mindsets. We could change the game. And we're doing it, not just talking about it, but being about it. That's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to give you guys your flowers for being here in the building, locking in with me always, showing up. And shout out to all of our community members. You know, we got a lot of people in the 5Y club. We got some 5Y members here that's been here around 5 years. Shout out to Annie. We're going to highlight you today. Annie, been around 5 years, right? I also want to give a special shout out as well to a couple other people that's in the building that's been around. Miss Felicia Davis Frazier, been around 5 years. I'm sure a couple of these iPhones. Javon Powell, been around 5 years, right? So you stepped into the building. My good brother Keenan, he's here 5 years, right? Been in this building. Sis, out of Philly, Marnie, 5 years. Miss Michelle, Right to Educate, 5 years. Miss Lines, 5 years. Gives a special shout out to you guys. Tony Harrington, 5 years. 5 years right there. 5 years this brother's been here. And there's a plethora of other people as well. I'm sure some iPhones and a couple other people. Channing Range, 5 years. Excuse me. I missed that. Good brother Channing right here. 5 years right there. 5Y Club. So a lot of people have crossed into that 5Y club as we head into 2026. A lot of people have been here since 2020 and 2026. So a lot of people have been in the 5Y club. Shout out to Dennis. Dennis has been here was 8 years, excuse me. 8 years. RJ's been here 7 years, and RJ is doing his thing. RJ Trades. Make sure you guys go fire up his page and follow him. Right. So we just want to highlight all of our community members that have been here 5 years plus, a plethora of you guys, and to anyone watching the recording. Shout out to you guys consistently watching the recordings, who've been here in the 5Y. I want to give a special shout out to Jeff Walker. He's not on the Zoom right now, but Jeff Walker is in the 5Y club. He's one of the leaders as far as people watching the recordings. So good brother Jeff Walker, I know you'll see this, right? We're going to give you your flowers here today. So shout out to everyone. Now let's continue to keep this party pushing, and let's talk about next numbers and digits, especially when we are looking at healthcare space. Let's talk about mRNA, right? So mRNA is right here within the accumulation phase, and it's been that way pretty much the majority of February 2025 up until now. right? So it's, been in a range bound. You can see the buyers have stepped in pretty much all year. Now, I want to preface something first, right? I want to say this up front. mRNA is not a fundamentally sound company. So you got to know the DNA of it, right? mRNA is not fundamentally sound. But I may have mentioned to this over the past few watch lists. You got some blanks here. So there is some, this thing, when you peel this thing back, there's not a lot of things that you look at and say, man, this is attractive. But I posted something up this morning and I've highlighted it. They've been range bound in between like 18 to 22% between their shares outstanding that have been shorted. So what that means is because they have 390 million, they do fall underneath what we call the low floaters. So we know that this company is a low floater company. Now they're not extremely low. If they extremely low would be underneath 100 million. So how is this stock going to move up? Because now I've brought it to your attention, but how? That's the question. How does this thing move up? This thing is going to move up here, right? And it is going to do so mRNA through short covering. So as price of this stock pushes higher, right? If we were to break over $45 and 50 bucks, people who are shorting this name, holding those shares short that went to the broker and said, hey, can we go ahead and borrow 2,000 shares and hold these shares short? In the event that the trade, you start shorting at 30 and they go to 15, right? And if they go to 15, that would have been a profitable short. But now what's going to happen is they could get squeezed. So likely in 2026, I would say there's probably a 70 to 80% chance on this that we are going to see a short squeeze on mRNA. So what does that require? That requires a huge amount of buying that ends up pushing the stock price upward. That's what it's going to take, right? So it would require a huge amount of buying, pushing the stock price up, right? Shooting it to the upside here, creating what we call a short squeeze. So now the stock price then presses and it presses these levels and it gets squeezed. This is how your OKLOs, we just use examples of this year, not saying we're comparing them, but just get highlighting these examples. OKLO is hot garbage. But you know what was happening? Right. And the reason why it's hot garbage is it's all hype, no numbers, similar to mRNA. That's where they're similar at. But now what you need to understand is they were getting squeezed. So when they broke over here in June, this is why we had one day where when they shot over, you see here in September, they shot up $30 on a Friday. I know this stuff to a T, man. You got to study your charts, man. Got to study your charts. Uh-oh, what's that day say? Friday, what? September 19th. Squeezed up here, a 30 ball right there. You got to know your dates, your times, your numbers. You need to know these tickers like the back of your hand. Because if you know your favorite rap lyrics, you know your favorite song, you know all about your players and their stats, you could tell me what contract they got, how much guaranteed money. You know all of these things, but you can't tell me the PDE ratio or when certain things happen. You need to study your film. Because you know what's the worst thing to happen to a player? And you can see it on tape when they don't study film. Because they go over to the sidelines and say, man, I didn't see that, coach. I didn't see the defender sitting there in the flat because you didn't watch film. You must watch film. And you have the opportunity to do that on your own time. Use it. If you're not going to watch film, you might as well pack this thing up, tuck your tail, and go away. You might as well leave the YouTube right now. You might as well leave the IG live right now because my people on this Zoom, they watching the film. They studying their tapes. So what I'm going to say to you guys is study your film. Use this to your advantage. You have the ability to run this stuff back. So now this short squeeze happened. That's why OKLO came down so fast because it was a fake pop. This was all short covering on a company that is shooting blanks. This is just a fact. You have nothing available for OKLO. So they could not justify being a $200 company, but everybody's pumping them. Where's 200? They can't even price me anything forward. They can't even price me nothing forward, sis. Shout out to my sis Marnie in Philly, always holding me down. You get what I'm saying? They can't even price me nothing forward. We ain't got nothing forward here. What am I supposed to do? I have no projections. So a stock go from $1 billion to 13 billion. And it went higher than that, went on basically to 20 billion, right? But then it pulls back down to 13 billion quick, 7 billion erased right off the market cap. So I want to just stress this, man. So it is super, 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 super duper important. OKLO, this is what happened to you. This is what happened to you. Super, super duper important. Now, I'll say this on mRNA, Moderna. Now, when you look here on Moderna, this is one that's going to be trading within a zone. When it breaks, I'm going to say this. I don't know how long it's going to last because of it's going to be determined what exactly are they doing. So they could see a pop. In my opinion, it may be very much short-lived. So I would not be surprised to see a short-lived pop on this. Just my thoughts up front. Right? So do not be surprised to just see a short-lived pop on this, right? So just my thoughts there. All right. So just wanted to cover mRNA to make sure that people knew what was happening, what was going on. Now I want to talk about another name, and that's Kava. Kava is going to be on one of my dark horse lists. So the reason why I'm gonna put Kava on the dark horse list for 2026 is they've now actually been publicly traded on the market. This will be their third year. And there's something about that third year. We talk about third year with Bitcoin, but it's something about that third year after the disaster. So Kava, am I saying Kava's gonna come up here and soar and go to $100+ Nah, I'm not saying that. But do I think Kava can run to 75, $80? Yes. Now, financial challenges are to me to be watched in this space. If there was a quality price, it would be roughly in between 35 to really about like $50 to pay. I think it's a tad overpay if you were to buy Kava today, but it's not an extreme overpay. I don't believe you should pay anything more than about maybe $80 for Kava, right? And that's even a stretch. Now, what I would definitely say is Kava, though, that $30 price, 30, $25, that would be a no-brainer. That would be a no-brainer price. So push come to shove, this thing falls 50%. For whatever reasons may allow that to happen. Business may fold and come down at $30 a share. You would buy it and say, okay, I'll wait on a recovery because you know where you're buying it at. That's a real great price to actually pick the name up at. So when I am looking at Kava, I would say that ideally $66 would be that pivot level. If we're to break through 66, that can help us get up to 75. So price target of about, we'll say end of year price target, we'll say $80, right? $80 price target for Kava next year. So $80 price target on Kava, and that's our best case scenario. If it goes past that, more power to it. But Kava, that is our thoughts on it. This has been a ticker that I've been covering for a while. We talked about it to the downside. We help people make money down. If you made money off of Kava puts this year, I want you to put some fires in the chat. If you made some money off of trading Kava to the downside this year, I want you to put some fires in the chat and drop a couple bags. We traded that early in the year. Would love to see you guys weigh in. So if you made some money off Kava to the downside, hold some of that, and you got Kava coming down. If this is a name that you like, which I know many people do like, but it's about where you get exposed to it. Miss Felicia Davis Frazier, we always gonna give her flowers. She brought this ticker really to the fold, especially in the infancy of its first run. Right. So, called me directly, Lawrence. I want you to check out Kava. What's your thoughts on it? Boom, did some analysis, some homework, and boom, it ran. But it was short lived because the numbers didn't justify at the time. But Kava had a 700 PDE at its peak, right? Now it's at a 50 PDE. So this is a different ball game. Kava is the example of a company that, hey, you had to show up for work and you had to deliver the numbers, and they did just that. So I wanted to give them their flowers. And yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. Now, this is going to be I'm also having this list. So all my mentees, you guys will get these lists. So no worries. Everyone on the outside, you won't be able to get all of this, but I'm giving you guys a bit of a preview before I give it all to my people next week. And that's why you need to join, because all of my top plays, all of my high level information, I mean, even this is high level, but some of the things that I'm about to go behind my back with, I'm just going to tell you. That's going to be next week. So before the new year, you need to get inside this community. Listen, these people have pulled the trigger, executed. I'm seeing many of you guys that are looking for a home. You're looking for a home to come in here. This is your home. This is the place. This is the place. And you know it. You know it. The question is, are you going to pull the trigger? Because I'm telling you here now, next year, it's not no discounts. This Christmas special that I'm putting out there for you guys ain't going to be available. The discounts I provided you will not be available. They've already been taken away off the board. So I'm just telling you here now, the value's here. Value's here. I've discounted myself for a long time because I got many people in this program that say, yo, L, you ain't charging enough. Yo, L, you let me in for that price? Man, that's a steal. So I'm going to tell you now, you best go ahead and send that information over today to get yourself inside this community. Because listen, some people have gifted other people, yo, you're going to join L community for Christmas. Why? Because that's a gift that's going to keep giving. These just the facts. When you step in between these lines and you show up, and you take this information serious, you are going to be helped in the long run. That's just the facts. If you show up lollygagging, you're gonna get smacked in your face. That's just the facts too. So don't lollygag. Show up with a purpose. Be diligent in in this process. So that's just all I'm gonna say there. Now I want to give you guys a lab. Now this is not a ticker I would buy at all today, but any market destruction I want this ticker at $60. If I don't get it at 60, I don't want it. But we always have our wish list, right? So this is directly on our wish list. I would not pay for this ticker at all today. You would be blindly buying an instrument that is completely overvalued. But this is the instrument that I want at 60 bucks. So what I'm going to tell you guys is this should be on your wish list. Don't buy it today because if it pulls back, you are going to get clapped. But someone's gonna say, what if it goes to 220? I don't care because you'll be overpaying for the ticker. We want to pay discounted prices. Yep. So we already covered NVO. So Day, you can actually send me a DM. Go ahead and get yourself into this community today. I've seen you quite often. I think it'd be good for you to pull this trigger, but we did cover NVO already. So just my thoughts. We just NVO real quick. It's at 52 bucks. It's still in the accumulation zone like we projected it to be. This a work in progress. And I don't really expect any major progress, honestly, until 2027. That's just my thoughts there, though. All right. So just a quick synopsis there. But ticker A Lab, Astria Labs. So if you were to buy this today, someone's going to ask, L, why don't you want the ticker today? And this is 140 PDE. Hell no. Please no. I don't want this. This is just too expensive for me. Too expensive for me. Too expensive compared, price to earnings ratio. So this is incredibly too expensive. So you got Astria Labs negative, down $4 here in the morning with a 73 forward PDE. So when we go to the analysis tab, which we're going to go to real quick, next year's earnings are projected to come in average estimate of $2.37. A year ago, EPS, they did a little bit under $1.84. So we are seeing year over year earnings growth. Average estimate this year to get ready to close us out will be $1.78. So they've done well. They've delivered on what they needed to go ahead and deliver on. Now they've had 4 consecutive beats. So this is not a bad company. This is just a too high price company. They were just at 130 bucks. That was even a decent price. Now they are here. This is why I have this trend line. Stocks like to bounce at this trend line. But any sourness that comes into the market, you see even on red days, watch this, put this ticker on your watch list if you don't have it already. When the NASDAQ goes down 2%, A-Lab's down 10. So they're down 5 times what the NASDAQ is down on the NASDAQ's, some of the NASDAQ's worst days, right? So to me, I would just say, this is not a name that has value money in it. This is money that can be pulled quick. And so I'm analyzing the tickers that I'm watching and seeing how their valuations like to move. So like I said, I wanted to stress that for everyone that's listening here today. Don't get caught overpaying for these tickers, man. Like I said, do not get caught overpaying for these tickers. And I think that's where a lot of times people make the mistake is they get caught looking to overpay. Do not get caught overpaying. And so this would be a name I would steer clear of, not because it's a bad company. Just I understand that I would be overpaying for it, right? So just my thoughts on that. Now I want to give you guys my thoughts on Apple. I haven't covered Apple enough, but I want to take some time to cover Apple, right? So a lot of questions on Apple. Shout out to good brother Dennis by way of Miami yesterday. He reached out to me and he asked me what my thoughts were on Apple. So I said, you know what, you're right. I do got to cover Apple a bit more. So with Apple, I would say ideally I would be watching below 260 for a move back to 250. Like if we don't break here, which I actually think we're more so just flagging, just my opinion, is I would be looking for the top of the flag break up here at 280 and then a run to 288, right? So we are in a bull flag pattern here on the weekly. It's a little bit broken, right? You'll see it a little bit better here. We actually broke out of it and then came right back into the flag. So we did make a new all-time high of 288, but if we break underneath 266, look for a move down to 260. So if the momentum does shift, it will be coming downward, right? So just my thoughts on this specific name here. Now, I'm also going to give you guys a spoiler. This isn't a sleeper. This is a spoiler. I want to show you guys how Carvana is actually about to pull back down. I just want to give you guys these notes. Watch ticker CVNA for some profit taking. Watch Carvana below 424.79. Now, Carvana is this thing is fast as hell. But I just wanted to point this out to my traders out there. This is really more so for my traders. Take this down, CVNA below, right? 424. CVNA, not CANA, CVNA, my bad. So CVNA, want you to take these notes down. We also did have U.S. economic growth grows by 4.3% in the third quarter, much more the delayed report showed. Yeah, delayed reports, that's all we get these days. The data's already delayed anyway. So watch Carvana. This was a name that was added into the S&P 500 towards the back half of the year. But I'm expecting some outflows here. They were down $16 yesterday, so I seen they had a sharp pullback. I watched the ticker yesterday. I'm looking for Carvana, though, to come down below this 424, push down to 413, and then maybe 401. So expect this is really merely profit taking. So profit taking on Carvana. Set your alerts. Once again, this is a fast. So if you know you ain't got the time to sit and watch this, or you don't have the capital to trade it, don't trade it. But I'm just telling you now, this is a high probability that this thing can fall. I would say anywhere in between $15 to $20 off of profit taking. Now, Carvana is a what? It is a low floater, right? So I can kind of sense and see some of the outflows here that's getting ready to take place there. So I just wanted to cover this name and cover this ticker, right? So when you are looking here at Carvana, right? Carvana, once again, very, 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 very important for me to go ahead and cover this name at this time. So one of the things that I wanted to discuss and speak about here this morning. So just my thoughts on Carvana. Next ticker is Netflix. We're going to do some coverage on them. Netflix is still here within this range, but underneath 92.75, Netflix is going to fall again. Where should you be looking to buy Netflix, guys? What's the levels to buy? When Netflix was at 13, 1200, I warned a lot of people. What was the main thing that I told people to pay attention here on Netflix? You know, it'd be coming down to that 80, $85 mark, correct? What's your best price scenario? Thank you, Kevin Thomas. Right? What's your best price scenario on Netflix? $55. Thank you, David A. Yep. 80 $82 is where it's going next. Your best price, correct. Thank you, gentlemen. Right? Thank you, Andre. Right? So we're telegraphing this long before because we have a plan. This is the thing. When you have a plan, it takes away the panic. Because when you have a plan and you kind of expect something, or even if you're not expecting it, but you've planned for it, when it happens in a game, it's not causing any worry. So is Netflix a name that you should be buying today? No, because even if the overall markets continue to go up, I think Netflix can still pull back down. We've seen some weakness within this sector, particularly here on NFLX. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it. We'd like to see a pullback on this name. Now, what's a name that I think you should go ahead and grab? Any 20, 30% pullback on this name, grab it. Because Robinhood in the long run, it's hood, right? Robinhood in the long run is going to be a 175, $200 company. I'm confident in that. But it's about where the price you pay. So Robinhood at $70, that is the level, that's your buy-in price because 20 and 30 is likely to not materialize. But 70 could. And arguably, I can make an argument it may not get underneath 90, but 70 definitely would probably appear quick. You want to buy quality stocks at discounted prices. So when I touched on the ARK ETF, which I've done numerous of times, when I've told came to these zones for the past for my 5Y members, they'll tell you past 3, 4 years, every time that the ARK was mentioned, when it after it dropped, I told people to buy it in between $30 to $35. Well, the ARK just had its best year since obviously 2021. So the ARK went crazy this year, had a really great return, and they outperformed the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 year to date. So I want to give the ARK and Kathy Woods their flowers, the team over there, but I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, right? The only way, and this is the only way, because of how the structure is set up. You see, as soon as I type in ET, boom, right there. You got to have your tools available. Use your tools, ladies and gentlemen. Use your tools. So the ARK ETF to me, when you look at the holdings, there's one path forward for this thing, and it starts with Tesla. So if Tesla goes, which my personal opinion on Tesla, I'll give it after this, is if Tesla can go to $600, $700 a share next year, it's possible. Not going to say not going to happen. It's possible. I'm not going to guarantee it either because we know how Elon is. But a motivated Elon is the dangerous Elon there is. Just calling it what it is. You may not like him, but when that dude is motivated, you know, it's just what it is. We've seen the best performances from Tesla when he's been distracted, running around behind DTs behind and sniffing him, right? Running into all of that. That was his downfall. Playing around, trying to, he also took a hit when he used his stock to cash out and bought X. So that caused some short term pain. But Elon's motivated to hit this trillionaire status. This is just the facts. And he got SpaceX, which is looking to go public as well. So Elon has a lot of motivation next year. So the ARK ETF, I mean, you're looking here at a 12% asset allocation. When you look at Robinhood, which is as well in this ETF, that's why I pulled it up in the first place. You see the hood right here sticking out. I think hood would probably increase in allocation, especially I think Kathy Woods, she would be smart to buy this at, $90. Let's say push on the sub, we see a pullback. So the ARK to me, I would say if someone asked me, Lawrence, do you think the ARK is going to duplicate outperforming the S&P 500 and NASDAQ next year? I would say the only way it does is if Tesla ends up going to $700. If Tesla doesn't, then no. The answer to the question is no. Tesla is the only way. Tesla holds the keys of if the ARK can outperform the S&P and the NASDAQ. So if Tesla even has a flat year, it's not going to outperform the NASDAQ and S&P 500. But I do believe, based upon what I've seen and how, obviously this is my thing, right? I study the ARK ETF, right? And shout out to Kathy Woods and her team. You also don't want to sleep on Roku. And I said this the other day. Now, Roku's done some great things in the past. Don't get it twisted. But you got to know where you're buying a company. Just like I told you with mRNA. What are you buying? Now, is Roku the ticker that you should be saying, hey, boatload money? No, because it doesn't have that DNA. But Roku is in what phase? The accumulation phase. So Roku is one of my sleeper picks. It was actually a pick, and we could just pull the numbers. We just go pull the numbers. This 2025 stock options playbook, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and pull it. Let's go ahead and pull it. Roku, $99 was right there. We presided some updates, you know what I'm saying? We just gonna pull the facts. That's 12/7/2024. 2026 stock options playbook is about to drop. We just gonna see. C Limited, smoke that. Zoom, X. Moderna, X. SoFi, smoked it. Roku, smoked it. Roblox, oh yeah, you best believe we smoked that. Unity, smoked it. SQ, X. Apple, smoked it. PayPal, almost got there. Was like, we'll just say we set a draw. Zillow didn't get there. 4 got there. QuantumScape smoked it. Zscaler smoked it. TKO smoked it, and you know it, baby. These is just the proof and the numbers. Just the proof and the numbers. TKO smoked it. Zscaler hit all the targets. Ding, 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 ding. All 4 smoked. So that's what I'm going to say. The numbers is right there. The numbers is right there. So Roku was right there on that list. Now, Roku, to me, is your dark horse. Pay attention, because now I'm about to go ahead and let me pull this data up real quick. Hold on. There we go. Move that. Good. Move that though. Move that though. There we go. So 3 phases. You got to use the tools. You got accumulation phase, public participation, and then you got distribution. So if you see accumulation, public participation, distribution. So Roku's been in the accumulation phase for 3 years. Now, I'm not saying Roku's going to break back out to 400, 500. Don't put me there. I ain't saying that. But what I will say is Roku, that 150, sounds decent, sounds good. You know what I mean? 150 is possible. If we get a break over 117, you should be looking for Roku to go back to 135. So Roku can have a nice year next year. Be looking for that. Be seriously looking for that, especially if we get some inflows. So they could definitely help out the ARK ETF. They could definitely assist because they are sitting there. So Roku, Kathy Woods obviously knows a bit more than everyone here. You know what I mean? Just gonna be honest. She got some intel. I've said long before, I didn't understand why Roku was maybe so high. I was never a fan of Roku being this high. Not that Roku was here. I was fine with that because I knew where it was at, what phase it was in. I just didn't like it at the number 2 because it just didn't make sense. Because no way I would have Palantir and Roblox and AMD lower than Roku. These are just the facts. Tried to wrap or even Coinbase. And so those are even Shopify, like no, all of those, even Beam, like Roku wouldn't even be in the top 10, just what it comes down to. And maybe if it wasn't, we would see this thing higher. Circle would definitely have dropped. But you remember when Circle, one thing I'll say about Kathy Woods, and there's nothing wrong with it because I think sometimes she'll come out the gates aggressive, just maybe a bit too aggressive. Because like even Circle Internet Group, I didn't agree. Circle Internet Group during the summer was here in the middle of the ARK ETF, and I was like, "What the hell is going on? Why is this thing here?" But you notice it dropped, and Circle Internet Group was a stock that we were looking at and saying, "Hey, Circle and CoreWeave, which we're going to cover after I get Tesla." Right. So let me go ahead and get Tesla, TSLA. Right. Let me go ahead and get Tesla, TSLA. Very, very, very important for us to go ahead and get this. Right? TSLA. Right? So, what's the path to getting to $500? Are you getting over $500 a share? And it just starts with really the best runs in Tesla have happened off of heavy optimism. That's when the best runs have happened. The best runs have happened off of heavy optimism. So with Tesla, they're likely to continue to keep pushing because they have momentum on their side. Tesla has that momentum. When Tesla gets going, that momentum can carry them to $30 day, $40 day, and those can be sometimes back to back. So it's really a momentum mover. It's not always okay, let me see the numbers. Now, what I will say is that Tesla has been downplaying, right? Ticker TSLA has been completely downplaying, right? Their delivery numbers, which tends to mean to me, you're downplaying these numbers because you also want to get a pop. So I'm seeing ahead of the report, which the numbers will come out the first couple of days of January. We'll get those numbers delivery wise. I'm excited to see that. Then you're going to get earnings in January as well. So earnings is getting ready to happen. So I just want us to pay attention to TSLA. There's a strong chance that ahead of earnings, they could be shooting towards 525, 550. If they go on a run, if they have good delivery numbers, which are coming in to be projected to be soft right now, but I think that's a cover up to try to get the stock to pop. So those are just my initial thoughts. Tesla price target 2026. I'm not going to say 700, but I'll say 575 to 600. 575, 600. That's my 2026 price target on Tesla. And I think it's just due to, I don't even think the numbers are going to be blowing out, but I think Elon will sell he'll show more of his motivated self. And I think Elon will, it's hard to say this, but for some reason, something tells me Elon's going to be straight and narrow. Me saying that is pretty crazy. But for some, you can always sense when Elon's going nut up. That's the thing too. He telegraphs it. He doesn't really hide when he's about to act up. But I think 2026, not saying none of us are perfect. So we're not saying he's perfect. We're not saying I'm perfect. We're not saying nobody's perfect. But I just think Elon will be motivated. And I just see him just working because this goal of being a trillionaire is serious to him. And that's a man you don't want to get in the way because he's got about 400 billion to collect to get it done. And a lot is going to have to do with the success of Tesla. So that's why I say when it comes down to the debating, when I made that video about DT, I talk about DT all the time. No, I'm not a DT fan. Many people here are not a DT fan. Some people here are a DT fan. No, it doesn't really matter. Why? Because this is what we got for the next 3 years. What does matter is DT, it's not a question if he's going to nut up. He's going to act up. When? It's always luck of the draw. But he'll open up you an opportunity to get inside this market. I'm confident in that. I'll tell you that. He'll open you a chance. And to me, it won't be short. It won't be long lived. It'll be short lived, very short lived. And so I want you guys to take these notes down, jot this information down here today, right? Because we're about to go ahead and talk about Circle and CoreWeave, two tickers that we've highlighted and covered all year. Now that we're here in December, let's cover them again. So many of people asking L, what do you think about Circle and what do you think about CRWV? I'm still under the impression of no. That's just my thoughts. Like, I would not touch these names yet. I know they've recently rallied. I'm just not comfortable where they're at. I know they've had a nice move. I've seen it, but I think you would be chasing. And I think they're trying to trap buyers here at $90 on both tickers for rejection. My personal opinion is underneath 50, you know what I'm saying? Underneath 50 would be my personal opinion. Underneath 50 would be my personal opinion to go ahead and grab this company, right? So underneath $50 on both companies, excuse me. So if that's not going to happen, I'm not going to get caught overpaying for these companies. So Circle Internet Group and CoreWeave do not get caught overpaying for these companies. Those are my core thoughts at this time. So I just wanted to, like I said, just make these notes, just to really go ahead and just help you guys out. Do not get caught overpaying. Do not get caught overpaying for these tickers. If you notice what I keep saying on most tickers, do not get caught overpaying right now. All right. So, couple special highlights. We got AVGO, which is up here at 340. Broadcom, we need to see a move back over 354. Meta, need to see a move over 672. So watch Meta, 672 there. Tesla, a break over 595, will push you into the 500 club. Carvana, a break underneath 424, drop down to 413. The VIX is currently subdued underneath 15. So there's not really much fear. The VIX hasn't been running. You may want to set some alerts for 17 and 20 in the event that it does. So it's 8:57 here a.m. You do have the consumer confidence report. So if we pull up your economic calendar, you do have consumer confidence, which comes out at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today, right? So for my people that's inside the community, pay attention. 2026 stock options playbook will drop here, right? So we are going to be there. If you missed the classes from this weekend, my people, go ahead and grab that here. We have a plethora of resources here, right? My thoughts and communication tab. This is where you come and get the Zoom code. Also pay attention. If someone's reaching out to you, like, hey, block that person, report that account. Just be mindful. Hey, only access into this community, or if you're looking for this live in-person mentorship here in ATL, we do have a couple slots available. 750 deposit is going to lock your slots in. 4 live days with me in Atlanta. You can lock yourself in for a 750 deposit. That price will be 2,500 going forward. It won't be 1,500 in the new year. So 750 today locks your spot in. You can pay the other 750 upon your arrival, right? Closer to the time closer to the time, during that time, right? So 750 deposit locks you in, right? Many of people have executed, gotten those 4 days, and learned a ton. You want access into this program today? This is your chance to get it. For my people that's watching on the tube and IG here, do not hesitate. Do not hesitate. You got to put, like I said, you got to make sure that you stepping into this realm. Step into this realm. So we got something here for everybody to set themselves up for the new year, right? Because we're going. Don't come January talking to me about new year, new me. Don't do that. Don't be that in that crowd. New year, new me. It starts right now. It starts right now. This starts right now. Very, 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 very important. Starts right now. What does it say? U.S. to take tariff action on semiconductors from China. Oh, DT. Oh, let's see. Sometimes he can just, he run his mouth a little bit a day, but we'll see that. That was just the alert I just got. So the SPY is at 684. QQQ is right there, 618, 619. So very, very, very important to keep your alerts on. Keep your alerts on. Keep your alerts on. So for everyone that's in the building today, I appreciate you guys that have been here watching here on the tube. I appreciate everybody that came into the Zoom. For my people that's in here, we will have a private class tomorrow. I'll let you guys know the time later today. So we will have a private class tomorrow on Christmas Eve. It definitely will be in the morning. So I'll just keep you guys updated on the time. All right. So it'll be a private class. So very, 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 very important. How do I decide what level and price to purchase a ticker? You do fundamental and technical analysis. So that's my thoughts. What's your thoughts on areas to decide of cap high beta, high risk speculative companies? Zoom, Square, 2021, 2022, OKLO, Oculus, Nebus. It always rhymes, right? So great question that's asked here, right? Because a lot of times your high beta, your high growth type names, speculative companies, that's all, how they'll be described and highlighted. You're right. It always rhymes. Stock runs, no requisite earnings, but then it comes time for earnings to actually come out and they can't prove nothing. And so the stock then ends up pulling back. So companies can go on a good 6 month run. They can go on a good 2 year run. That's just the nature of the beast. Like these companies can do that easy and quick. And what I always tell people is it happens so many times that, we're able to see that these names can actually run very, very fast, but then they always pull back strong, right? That's just the reality. Those names pull back strong. That's why the overall markets are not down even 10%, but OKLO's down 50% from a high already. Circle Internet Group and CoreWeave, from the times I told people to, hey, stay away from them, you now are going to be moving here to this downside very swiftly. So that's why I always tell people is like those high growth names, history repeats itself. They go into the distribution phase and they get sold off quick, 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 sold off fast. So that's what I'll tell you guys that are listening here today. Those names get sold off super, super, super duper quick. So for those that are, like I said, that are listening to me here today, this is why you don't want to be on just any live. You don't want to be just in any class. A lot of you guys are going to different places and you can't even get this level of information I've given you in an hour. I've given you some high level information in an hour, pointing you in the right direction, but also showing you how to throw that fishing rod out there to reel it back in for yourself. That's what it is. Javon has been here 5 years, 2 different stints. He took a little break, came back. But Javon ain't missing no classes. We see him a lot of times. He's cutting brothers in a chair, but he still got his earbuds in and listening because he's training his mind. So now Javon is seeing things. Mr. Moore, he's sending me his chart. Yo, this is what I got, L. He's sending me this. He's pulling the trigger. So you got to train your mind. That's what it takes. And it's the place to do that. Reps. Tony Harrington always says it. You got to get the reps in. Get off the paper trading account and step into this real realm. Get off the paper trading, get the reps in. Build that consistency because your motivation is going to fade. And this is why I believe it's so, so important to have the right person teaching you and guiding you, because I'm not going to go ghost when the market goes sour either. In February and March, when the market went sour, I was loud. I was louder than what I even am now because that's the way it needs to be. Because I need to tell, yo, this is the opportunity. So, what I want to tell people right now, do not fall for none of this stuff because I'm going to tell you the last thing I'm going to say before I get off this Zoom. All the people, a lot of people got programs when the market up and they teach in and they teach on the green days because they don't teach on red. They don't even trade puts. They don't even understand how puts work. And this is why I got to stress to you guys. Super, super, super duper important. At the lowest point of this market, ask your question. Was I here? At the highest point, was I here? Also telling people to raise cash on areas where maybe they ran a bit too much. So this is high level education and you know it. Very, 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 very important. Friend, where should I put 10K right now? Never hurts to ask. Miss Nikki, a good question. But I'm going to tell you, that's the mistake that a lot of people make. Because I could come and say, hey, put 10K, not that I would, but I just want to highlight this. You see, you wouldn't know too much. If I said, yo, Miss Nikki, put 10K on OKLO, which I wouldn't say, so don't do that. But the piece that I'm gonna tell you is you could become someone's exit liquidity like that very quick. But what you could do is you got 10K, you come pay to get in this program, take the rest of that money and let's get to work. That's just the facts. Annie, who came in, pulled the trigger. A lot of people pulled the trigger early on. I'm telling you, people been here 5 years. What you think they here 5 years to see paint drying on a wall? They here 5 years because they've been learning, executing. Very, 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 very important. If I'm freezing, I don't think I'm freezing, but I think I'm good. If I'm freezing, maybe it might be. Let me know. Let me know if I'm freezing. If I'm freezing, we working. Cleve, me and Cleve had a conversation. Cleve, me and you had a conversation. Cleve, it was his birthday last week. That's what type of mentor I am. This ain't just a transaction. We building real friendships and brotherhood, and we got sisterhoods building around here. Cleve, I pulled up to your family's restaurant. Very nice restaurant, by the way. Me and Cleve were talking one on one, as we always do. And Cleve, man, some people they're just not getting it. They got to get it through time. Me and Cleve was talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just a relationship for just okay, oh, you just stood, no, we building, but you got to take the time to build too. Cleve put in the work. Cleve been in this community for a little over a year. It'll be a year and a half soon. Mr. Moore just came, right? And just came in a mentorship 3 weeks ago. Now he's been around, he's been around in the community. So this is what I'll say. So this is what I'll say. You know you need the help. You know you need that access. This is what you got to do. Because we're showing you here long-term community building. Because come 2030, you guys will be the people to say, yo, not only did I help myself, but I also helped created this, fostered this community, and I've helped thousands of people to be able to get to this point. That's changing. That's how you change things, quote unquote. Everyone talk about the culture, the culture, the culture. Rappers talking about killing each other. That's culture. People dancing. That's culture. That's whack. This is culture to me. Actually helping people get assets. So my people that's in real estate, that's showing other people how to get in real estate. That's showing them. People that's in crypto, helping people develop blockchains. That's showing them. People that's in the stock market, that's showing them. We got many, but we got that's showing them. That's the culture. Loser bracket culture is talking about rappers killing each other, all these athletes, those are leaders, those are idols. No, because they could see you tomorrow and not even speak to you. The same people that you grew up thinking was this way, not even speak to you. Had it happen to me 2 times yesterday. Seen two great NFL players. Spoke to them and I told them I appreciated them for what they gave to the game. None of them said nothing to me. It was Steve Smith and Greg Olson. Steve Smith and Greg Olson, two great players. Ran into both of them. I ain't asked for no photo. Trust me, I ain't no fan like that. I don't need your photo. But I wanted to tell you I appreciate you what you put on the field. Spoke to him. Steve Smith, glasses on, couldn't even speak to me. But homie, I done been around Drew Brees, my GOAT. And he done gave me, dapped me up and hugged my mother. Respectfully. So this is why I say we can't idolize these people. Greg Olson, good brother, you sit on TV every day. I mean, not every day, every week, calling games. But I see why Tom Brady took your spot. Oh, I'm going there. See why Tom Brady took your spot, and that's my GOAT, by the way. By the way. You get what I'm saying? So you got to be mindful because these people sometimes try to treat you a certain way. You get them in person, and all you say is thank you for what you're giving. You get what I'm saying? You ain't idolizing. Appreciate what you gave to the game. They don't even say thank you. But you get around some real goats, Drew Brees, you know what I'm saying? Just what it is. Dap you up, hug your mother, boom, keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's utterly important for us in 2026 for us to focus on ourselves. Focus on ourselves. Just very, 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 very important. Focus on ourselves. Focus on building your systems and your processes. And this is why I look at it and say, hey, we got the opportunity now. This market to open up. We know it's going to keep opening up. Real estate, continue to do that. It's a great way to build wealth. Bitcoin, great way to build wealth. We don't need to just do some of it. We need to do as much as we can and whatever we're able to do. I just know in my piece, I'm able to help educate people in the stock market, helping them learn and effectively just what it is. These proof in the pudding, NVO. Don't be a consumer of NVO and you ain't investing in it. This is just what it is. So the classy investor, Miss Pollard, I appreciate you. So I appreciate everybody that's on this YouTube live, that's on this live. And let's lock in. Don't waste no time. My people that's here, I'll see you guys tomorrow, early in the morning. I'll let you guys know the time and we'll nail it down, but we'll have a nice little private session. So for my people that's on the tube, people that's on the IG, send a DM right now. And like I said, make sure you use your favorite mentor, right? Use me as a resource, but also it comes with compensation. Just the facts. Got to be compensated. So ask the questions that you need. Make sure you guys know. Ask the questions you guys need. We'll have some time. You got some questions. Make sure you ask, but make sure it's things that's don't just be asking where to put your money at, but you don't have the proper education. So also don't fall for any phishing. 716-930-6783. You contact me directly or on the IG with a verification badge. That's what we got it for. Shout out to Mark Zuckerberg. Meta platforms, last thing, 674. You know, it's going to take some time, but Meta tried to do it yesterday, but just pay attention there. So I appreciate y'all. Use this motivation, but motivation is going to fade. You got to become consistent. And I'll talk to you soon.